And now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylic. Ginger.
John, are we on?
I am telling you, we are not only on, but we are 3 minutes early. Count them. 1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Good job. All right. Well, I didn't hear the Sammy song, so I just figured that...
well, no, I have to turn off all our sounds.
So, welcome everybody to a fabulous, wonderful live show. We're going to give away a little painting tonight, so toward the end of the evening, so hang in there with us. This is a live show. What that means, if you're new to tuning in, is that
it's live.
we anything can happen. Really, literally, we don't buffer anything. I could say anything.
There's no censoring.
You could say that we don't censor too much in the sense that people ask questions, I answer, I give you my honest opinion. Maybe later, I'm sorry I was so honest, but right now, this is what you're going to get, and this is what makes it fun. John is our moderator, and also he's also typing in questions along with some other moderators that we have to keep the stream friendly and happy with our chat, because a lot of people will start joining us later. If you've been wondering what this is all about, this is a lot of fun. It gives you a chance to kind of know some artists. And by the way, we have a new art club called on Facebook. It's called the Ginger Cook Acrylic Art Club, and it's sort of, you can apply to join, and it doesn't cost you anything. But what we're trying to attract is artists who want to meet other artists, show off your work, let other artists talk. Just get to know some people that share your hobby. And we've tried it different ways, but this has been really successful, and we're very excited about this, our new Facebook club. And so we invite you to, scoot on over to Facebook and answer the 3 questions to become a member. And one of the reasons that we have the questions, and this has come up, why do you have questions? Well, we want to know a little bit about you, but also we want to know if you know enough about us to participate in the club, okay? Because it's a lot of fun, and occasionally I will, every day I pop in and make say some nice things about people's artwork. Occasionally you may even find me making a suggestion or two if the word CC is included in the paragraph introducing the artwork you're displaying. And I'm going to be displaying artwork not only that I'm doing, and for our Art Academy, our members, and for our YouTube friends, but also sometimes I'll feature one of our members, Academy members' artwork, and say, look at what so-and-so did. They've done a fantastic job. I want to brag on them. This is fun. We've done that on the other Facebook channel too, Ginger Cook. But this is really special. We've really got a nice family of artists. We have been up a few days, and like over 500 people have joined us, which I think is kind of neat. And so pay attention to the friends that are on the live chat. You may end up meeting them in your art club. And this is your art club too. So this is really Acrylic Art Club. So Ginger Cook Acrylic Art Club, Facebook.
Okay, and I'm a little loud. Let me turn mine down a little bit. I'm watching the mic. Okay, let me know if I'm still a little loud. You can never tell with these microphones. Very sensitive. The girls, the moderators have put in the chat the link to the Facebook club. We do want to make sure that we do filter the people who are coming in. We've had some people apply that have actually no Facebook presence other than their name. And needless to say, they didn't get in.
Yeah, you want to have a safe place to be able to put your artwork and not have, because, we have rules and no one's allowed to say anything crummy to anybody. How's that, In our club, you got to be nice or you don't get to play, So we have, I think when you read the rules and you understand them, it's to make your experience and all our experiences more enjoyable, because we're here to, art's a lot of fun. Now tonight, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing another one of the old dead guys. And we're going to do another vase of flowers. This will be fun. We sort of put it out in our art club, asked our members to vote on it. This was what was voted on it. that was fun too. But now we're going to be doing more of that. We're going to let some of our club members help me pick out the tutorials that we do on YouTube. We're going to show you some of the stuff our members are going to be doing. What John and I have been really working, because we're going to, obviously we're going to be out of town on Thanksgiving. So,
well, obviously.
Yeah, because, yeah. So, well, I used to go over to Cinnamon's for Thanksgiving.
I
my
know,
daughter.
you used to always be on the air.
Yeah, that was like sort of a working holiday.
Yeah. So we nipped that in the old bud.
That was fine, but, moving on to, John and I are going to, be out of town. So we have been filming some phenomenally good videos to be able to have on YouTube when we're not doing live.
The big long one?
Yeah, I want you to see that.
Let's just see some.
You want to see a preview? This is going to be for our members, and show them. We got to show them both pictures. The one that we did before. This is Harnett. This was an American artist. He actually immigrated, and we've done a previous one of his. This was our members. I'm going to show you this one first. This is what we call a box of cookies. You start off with some very beginning artwork, but then when you get to know me and you get farther along on the academy and take advantage of our personal art coaching, we have had a ton of members be able to paint this just beautifully. So because we so love this artist that did this, this is the newest one that will be available. Check that out. Don't you love it? This pile, wonderful pile of books on a 10 by 20 canvas by the same like artist, Harnett. Can you see that?
That's like a 5-hour video.
Yeah, it's really long. I mean, this is the thing that we, I had more fun painting this, did it all day yesterday. We filmed this all day yesterday and painted on this all day yesterday. This is going to be released for our members real soon. So, again, probably over Thanksgiving, I would imagine. We've got some great stuff coming up. So that being said, if John would be so kind, again, just to focus down here on what we're going to be doing tonight, you can see we're going to do this vase of flowers. And this is by our happy guy, Redon. We've done some of his, last week we did some of his stuff too. And I like this one. It has this almost leather-looking background, all right? And then this very, very more realistic vase of flowers. And so I've prepared a canvas. I want you to see it. I took a burnt umber and just painted the whole thing really, really dark with a little ultramarine blue. And I did this surface over it. Now, I'm going to show you how to do that because this is the little picture I'm giving away tonight, and it's already got a brown surface on it. Because what we do with our 6x8 canvases, whenever we have anything left over, what we do is we cover a canvas with it because we know we're going to use it when we have leftover paint. We try not to throw it down the drain. This is a good practice. You're usually going to have either a dark canvas or, probably either dark browns or maybe some blues or some oranges, something like that. So it doesn't hurt to paint a canvas. It gets you a head start because your paint, you'll find, goes better on a canvas that has had that's been sealed and the paint is dry on it. It just grabs better than just on gessoed canvas. It just really is happier when you do that. And I want to just remind everybody to sand their canvases lightly before they use them, because this keeps your brushes from wearing out. You use less paint when you do that. And let's see, what's another really super good reason for it? Let's see, and yeah, it's easier to paint, easier for fine lines. You don't waste paint, so it's a good thing to do. Just can feel all good about recycling and just keep using your stuff. And of course, you can paint over any canvas. If you paint something and you decide you just didn't like it, all right, which is okay. As I'm talking to you, I'm putting out paint, all right? Putting out some magenta. We're going to put out some Cad Red medium here. I'm using kind of a combination of Matisse and Golden and some Liquitex. I just use heavy body paints. That's what I'm, using right now. And, let's see, that's the burnt sienna. I was looking for the burnt umber, was in a small container here. A little burnt umber. Anyway, so we want to just invite everybody to subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed. If you have a question for me, want to answer it, if I can. One real fast way to get your questions answered is like the day of the show, like every Monday and Tuesday that we do live shows. The day of the show, use the contact us on gingercooklive.gallery, that's our website, and write the question in. and chances are I'll remember to answer it. Or you can put it in big capital letters here.
You might remember the answer.
And the girls, sometimes when we get a lot of people in the room, if we do tonight, sometimes the chat goes by very fast and no one's trying to ignore you. There's also a way, if you think we're doing a great job, we have a button there underneath the gear there on the right, and it's a donation button. It's only a feature that's on the live shows, and you can donate, anything from, I don't know, $1 to, $1 million, I guess. I don't know what the cap is. But in any event, we want to thank anybody in advance who loves us and wants to, throw in a few bucks to, kind of cover the cost of some of the paints and the stuff that we do and we put up. That's great. And I want to remind everybody on our contest, because we can slip this in an envelope, it's not restricted to the United States. It's, if you live somewhere, we'll mail it to you. How's that? So don't feel bad about and we'll tell you a little bit more about how to enter the contest for our 10-minute painting. Okay, so pretty much I've got the colors out now: white, magenta, cad red, medium, burnt umber, burnt sienna, phthalo blue. That's in the right position. Here's ultramarine blue, Dazzling purple, cad yellow, medium, yellow oxide. And I think we're going to use this color too. I really like this. If you don't own a Naples yellow, you can just add white to yellow and it kind of works, but Naples yellow is lovely, and I'm just going to put a little out. That is a great color, and let's do it, right? Let's be the last of the big spenders and maybe introduce a color. This is a really handy color. Yellows are your primary colors, so when they have them in tubes, different shades of yellow in tubes, they're really not colors that are mixable. I know that sounds kind of funny. They just didn't dump a bunch of white into cad yellow light. You actually cannot mix cad yellow light. It's an actual different color than cad yellow medium, you guys. So if you're going to spend money, people say, well, what extra tubes of paint? Particularly if you're a person that likes flowers, buy all your reds, buy all your yellows. Those are the colors I would tell you to buy, because your primaries are very happy with that. I still like phthalo blue, ultramarine blue. Some people like cerulean.
Okay, before you get too crazy there, I have a couple questions coming in.
Yeah.
One, we had a donation.
Oh, thanks.
From Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, Miss Elizabeth, thank you.
What is designer magenta versus the Q one?
Well, there's quinachrome magenta and quadrichrome magenta, however you say it. And Daniel Elliott said there was no difference. He said that they were, they're all a sort of fake color, this magenta color. So I don't know that there's a big difference between them. I think they vary slightly from brand to brand, but they're probably close enough. Okay, you probably would, either one you had would work. But for instance, alizarin crimson is like almost the color of red wine, and that is a really nice color to have. But you can take a naphtha crimson, a little tiny bit of ultramarine blue, and make sort of something like that. So yeah. You can make these things.
Next question, what grade of sandpaper do you use? Is it 220?
Yeah, just really light sandpaper. Just really light. And it's just, we have like one piece we've been using over and over again. So it's kind of sad here. Little light sandpaper.
We're cheap.
We're cheap. You don't need a lot.
We usually either 220 or 320.
Yeah.
Really fine.
Fine sandpaper. You just want to just lightly do the surface. Now, here's how I did the background on this piece. All right, I want to show you how I did the background on this, because here's the picture. John, you have the picture up there, right?
Pictures and pictures.
So you can see that you've got, now we have a whole video here, one of the first ones I ever did on YouTube, on how to achieve a background like this. All right, and this is a common background that's used all the time in artwork, and the reason it's used so often is because it's really easy to, this can go for portraits, this kind of background, but you start with something dark, and then you're going to take a bright brush. I suggest one of your older brushes, but this is one that, I don't know where this one even came from. I think it came from Liquitex. It's a 6, so it's a Filbert 6. It's good enough. I'm fairly stiff. I'm going to take a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of ultramarine blue, okay, like that. Now, using just the side of the brush, I'm going to just start making little circles like this, right over this. Now I'm going to take a little bit of burnt sienna, come right on top of that, like this. Maybe a little yellow oxide, and come right on top of that. Okay, working my wet edges in. Maybe another, now I'm going to variation of this. A little bit of burnt sienna, a little bit of yellow oxide, a little bit of burnt umber, Always working my wet edges, kind of staying out of the middle. And you see how I'm kind of going around the canvas, making this sort of mottled background, okay? A little bit of yellow oxide, like that. You could even use a Dazzling purple, would be pretty. Let me show you what happens. That'll give you a darker background. Now look at here, I'm just barely touching this, making the circles and moving, okay? Here's a little bit of burnt sienna. The trick is you need a color to start with. And you're going to go around the whole canvas like this, and that's how we did this big one, okay? And remember how you did it, because you may find that you need to do it again. Maybe you're going to need to touch something up. So kind of, if you can't remember what colors you used, I have friends that take classes from me over the years. They've all become friends now, and every once in a while they'll do a background and they'll do some crazy thing with blues or greens or something, and then they have to touch it up, and they can't for the life of them remember what colors they used to get it. It's real pretty, but they have no idea. So
let me just interrupt you for a second and thank these people who have been making donation. We had a donation come in from Miss Brooke, an Amber, and a Michelle.
Oh, thank you, you guys. We appreciate it very much.
That. We just had our big order start to come in from Jerry's.
Yeah, we got our first big box of canvas.
Got some more canvases and more paint's coming.
The thing of it was that we did a couple of 10 by 20 paintings on YouTube a few weeks ago, and people really, this one that I've seen that everybody did so well. If you haven't done that one, it's so gorgeous. The one with that's the tulips by Cezanne, right?
Yeah.
And with the green vase, and everybody has been able to do it, and it's gorgeous. And it has a background similar to this, just in different colors. It's all in the blues, but it's done the same way. Does that make sense? It's absolutely done the same way. So you can see how you always want to work the wet edges. Here's what you don't want, okay? You don't want this, you don't want this, because I mean some of you are doing this. Okay, so work those edges in. Here I'm going to lighten this up a bit and even add a little bit of Cad Red Medium and orange. Work those sides of the edges in, right? If you just feel like, maybe one day you're watching TV, get out a little TV tray, something like that. There's a little Cad Red Medium and purple. You're watching TV, and get a little TV tray out and get a few colors and some small canvases, and just try to do this, where there's no pressure involved to paint anything. See about, use some colors that you think would be real pretty, and practice this. Start with a canvas that already has a layer of paint on it. You see how we're getting these nice tones and coming up even in lighter as I go, here like that. And then getting into the oranges now, see? And, every once in a while dry if you have to. See how I'm just sort of always, I'm pushing really hard, if anybody wants to know. I'm pushing pretty hard. And I get this nice mottled canvas look. So here's our canvas, like this. Now, we have, I know you are not going to believe this, but we actually got the traceable up for this in time.
Unbelievable.
Where's it, John? Because people can say, I don't know where the traceable is. And they're going to say that.
Run the homepage, can't miss it.
All right, so what do you do with something like that? Well, here's our picture. I'm going to see, which I think I'm going to just put it like this. This was my sort of flat area. And I'm going to get here's a traceable. This is Surreal Transfer Sampler paper. What I liked about this, I've been using Surreal for years, like 20 years, 20, 30 years, okay? What I like about this company is the fact that they have a lot of different colors that you can use as to transfer your designs onto your canvas. And before I found the sampler thing, you had to buy them in like a wax paper roll, the way wax paper comes, or aluminum foil. And there was yards of that. I mean, that lasts you like for 100 years. So that means you need to buy, and it wasn't expensive either. By the time you get 10, 15 bucks into a roll, and then you need 5 or 6 colors. But I like this because for like under 10 bucks, you've got, and I think it's really under 7, whatever it was, you get 5 different colors. And we put a link from our website to Amazon where you can find this easily. And that we have blue, red, yellow, kind of a charcoal, and a white. And and you can use it over and over again. So, all right, so here's how it works. When you put it face down with a pen and draw on it, see how it leaves a mark? So what you do is you take your transfer paper, just do a black and white picture of your, picture. You do a black and white and kind of line it up. I'm going to move this up just a hair here so I have a little more room for my vase, right about like this, I think, okay? And I'm going to tape down my picture, and I'm going to put a, there, seems to want to blow away. I'll tape it down so it doesn't move. If you guys ever sewed, anybody in this group ever done any sewing, you know, we used to have something like that, sort of this wax stuff you can put on fabric. And you do a little roller and you could, you know, mark fabric. Well, this is not that dissimilar, okay? So here we go. We're going to transfer this on. I'm going to put this like this. Now I'm going to slip my paper underneath here like this, shiny the bright yellow side down. Okay. And I'll just do it like that. That ought to keep it pretty good, right? How much room does that give me up above? Do I want to bring this up? Let me bring it up a little bit. I'll tell you what, I just feel like it could be nicer. He's got it really low. I'm sorry. I think he's got it too low.
Well, he's got a lot of space around his.
And we're doing this on it, yeah, so I'm going to bring this up a little bit more. There we go. I think I'd like that better. Make sure this is the canvas, you know, this paper is straight up and down, which is not, because I don't want my base tipped, okay, because that would be easy enough to do if you didn't have this lined up on the canvas. Right, it would be easy enough to tip the vase, you know, have the vase tipped a little bit. So, all right, here we go.
A question came in on the background that you just did. Did you do that on top of a wet burnt umber, or was that dry?
That was dry. The burnt umber was dry. You want one dried layer. And like I said, we have a great video and just how to do different backgrounds. It's really old. It was done with one of our first cameras. Okay. And
back in the day.
But it's a classic. It's because you use this all the time. All right. This is something that you use. You use it in portraits. There's so many applications that you would use. I'm going to put my glasses on so I could possibly see. Now, what I'm not going to trace on is my. I'm not going to trace on the design on the vase. We don't need to do that, though. You know, later, if you did some marks, you could go back and trace that on. We'll sort of outline some of these flowers. I don't think these are pretty simple shapes, and if your flowers are a little different than someone else's flowers, I think that's okay. This was the shadow on the wall. Okay, and this is the main shape of the flowers up here like this. Honestly, you don't need to do all the little tiny ones. You just generally, I think the thing you needed the most, let me just kind of look at my picture to see what I'm tracing. I think what you needed the most was these kind of yellow primrose things. And I don't know that you even need any of these. I think you could certainly paint those in. But if you didn't feel confident, that's okay. Get your general shape of how these would be going. Okay? Like that. All right, everybody's happy with that? Now, let's see, how did we do? All right, see, there you go. See, that was easy, right? And then this, the nice thing about, you know, even if you're using transfer paper to draw your own stuff, draw it on a piece of paper, and when you're happy with the drawing, then transfer it on. And then someone comes along and says, "You don't look busy. That is so pretty. I didn't know you could paint. Will you make me one?" And normally you could say no, but then this is like your mom or your aunt or one of your kids or something. You feel obligated. And then, by the way, so then, you know, they want one just like what you did. If you have like a little, you know, drawing of it in the cupboard, you can then transfer the drawing on again. Okay, so what we want to do here, I'm going to take a small brush. This is like a ruby satin silver, one of my favorites. These are the 3/8 in angle brush. And I'm going to take white paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint my vase in. Okay, and because we need some white. Make sense? So we can be painting that in while we're talking, which is a good thing, yeah. Paint that in, and this sort of.
We're working on an 8x10 canvas.
Yeah, 8x10.
Though she demoed how to do the background on a 6x8 that she'll be using later for the giveaway. I assume you will be.
Yes. Yeah, You know, so you can kind of see how to do it. But this is now, you know, this canvas is still fairly rough, but, you know, this gives me one coat of white on here that can be drying while I'm doing other things. So here we go. Here's our handle.
Do you remember what brush you used on the background when you were doing the demo?
Yeah, it's just any little bright. If you had a round brush, it'd be good. I used a filbert, but you could use some.
No, it's pretty abusive on the brush, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very hard on the brush. I like to take an old brush or one I don't care about too much, because it's a little hard on the brush. Now, one of the things I want to do to get this thing is I'm turn it upside down like this, because I'm right-handed, and it's easier for me to do the vase like this, the bottom of the vase, like that. Since I went to all the trouble to trace the outline, I might as well follow it. What do you say? There you go. All right, so I'm going to say that's the coat 1 on the vase. There you go, coat 1 on the vase, and I already have some white on my hand, which now transferred onto the something. You know, we love it. Okay, so just, you know, I love it.
Challenge when you were doing that.
Yeah, okay, so I've got this great story. Years ago, there was this, oh gosh, this was 20 years ago. There was this artist who was real famous. I've forgotten who his was, but he was a real kind of an illustrator. I mean, really good too. I mean, you know, like just terrific. He illustrated books and all this stuff. And he couldn't mix colors for the life of him. So he would pay another artist from art school, you know, a minimum wage practically, to sit next to him and hand him the colors he wanted. Okay, because he couldn't make them. So then he got together with a chemist and he invented this paint that didn't dry unless you cooked it in an oven. And then you bought all the colors. It came in all the colors. I'm not kidding. I did try some of this paint. I was very curious to see what it would be like. And what happened was it didn't dry. So if you got it on your hand, then it was on your nose. This was insidious. It was everywhere. Because once you got it started, you could either do a heat gun with it, or you could put it in the oven and bake it, and it would dry. And it was expensive. Oh my gosh, it was really pricey. I had I think a sample kit in the heat gun, and wow. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of magenta and a little ultramarine blue, like that, okay? And I'm going to take a tiny bit of yellow, like less than 1%, and add to that, okay? Okay, maybe a little bit more ultramarine blue. Okay, there we go. Now, this is my shadow side of the vase. I'm going to make sure that my brush is slightly damp to do this. This is my shadow side of the vase. And right while this is still wet, I'm going to put the shadow in, the shading in, because this for sure has to be this color here. And I want it a little bit bluer as I come up to the top here. It's going to be a little bit darker here. So you see how I'm just sort of blending that in like that. Because, I mean, this side of the vase definitely is going to be more in shadow. And then we'll take some white, a tiny bit of phthalo blue. Phthalo blue is like kryptonite. It's just a ton, very little. You need very little, okay? I'm going to come up here around the throat, up here at the very top of it, and add a little of this light blue. And add a little bit of light blue on the inside of the handle. And then down here, make this a little darker. Some things I need to dry with the vase, but this one I'm going to just go ahead and add some blue here. And right like that. There we go. So that can be sitting there. It's not really... Now what happens next is we're taking a little bit of this magenta and white, and that's way too much. So I'm going to rinse my brush. More magenta, like that. So a tiny bit of purple to it, like less than 1%. Little tiny bit of, let's try that Naples yellow. Try that, or maybe a little tiny bit of yellow. Okay, so we've got this kind of pink color. Now I want more white in it. This is really a white vase with a pink cast. So I'm going to just go ahead and paint over my vase here like this. You think when you first look at it, you think it's white, but it's actually not really. It's white, but there's this pink cast to it. So then we're going to take the side of the brush like this. See what I'm doing? And where this is wet, melt the shadow in like that. Just kind of tone that down here like this. Kind of melt all this in. All right, so this is our this is what we've got for our vase right here. Here's a little bit of that shadow color. There we go, like that. Okay, so vase can be sitting there doing nothing while that's drying. And let's find another little brush. And let's come up here with some white paint. And where we know we've got some yellow flowers, let's paint those white. Yeah, flowers are yellow only paints over white, and you've got to kind of prep it. So here we go. Here's the yellow. Those are going to be yellow, but the white will have to dry. It's going to be paints over dried white. That's the caveat to this, okay? So you kind of, you know, trace those in, right? So you know where that went. Okay. And then what? Well, you know you've got you've got a green leaf here, and you've got some dark on the inside here. So let's rinse the dark off of our brush.
That'd be the white.
It would be the white, isn't it? Because we had light on there. Yeah, let's do that. Good point, John. Thanks. So I'm just going in, reaching in here for a little purple and brown. Okay, and I want to come up underneath in this area, underneath where my flowers are going, and put the dark color. And I want to come next to it. Here's my shadow color on the wall. Maybe these are flowers. I don't know. It's awfully dark for a shadow. These must be flowers. Kind of purpley flowers. Okay, I'll go with that. I don't know. I wasn't there. It's not my vase. I don't know. Kind of nice, though. Okay, so I'm doing that. That's those. And then up here, believe it or not, it's dark back up under here. Where our stems are going to go, okay? Kind of dark up here underneath those flowers. Okay, I can see that. Huh, okay, got it. So now, so far so good, yeah, this is kind of neat. Now what could we do? Nothing. We have to, well, no, let's take some white. I'm telling you what, we could, no, we're going to dry. Let's just take a moment and dry everything. John, any questions before I dry? This is real important to dry when you can.
No. No
okay.
Questions.
What?
A little warning so I can turn off the mic.
What part of I'm going to dry did you miss?
Well, you asked if there's any questions. We're kind of having a conversation here. Then all of a sudden you go crazy. You go, let's just slow it down a little bit.
All right, here we go.
Jeez. You got to be quick on the draw tonight with that gal. Hey, let me show you somebody's little artwork. We had some of the cafes come in. Andrew sent in his Van Gogh cafe. You look at that, and he has it all framed up. Is that gorgeous or what? That was done by Andrew, one of our members of the Academy. And let me show you Liz's. We're doing the cafes, Village Cafe, the Van Gogh cafes.
Oh, yeah, we've really gotten some fabulous ones back from that one. I'm so impressed with you guys.
We have Liz there, and here's Andrew. So there they are side by side, so you kind of get a take on the two different artists, techniques. And
Andrew, you know, has been taking lessons from me. He lives in Haiti, and he runs a big company there. And so, he, you know, he's been taking lessons for over 3 years through our art academy on the internet. If he's watching tonight, big shout out to Andrew. And it's really, the man can now paint really well. And, you know, this is fantastic. When I see the kind of results we've been getting with some of our people, I want to say shout out to Monique Fries in the Netherlands. I'm telling you what, the fact that we can be globally teach people to paint is phenomenal, and you guys are really getting it, so I'm impressed. And, you know, we really see the results on the art club. So you showed everybody kind of what, it's impressive, isn't it?
It is very impressive.
Well, I'm going to get back to this picture now. We've kind of dropped, you know, done this. And again, if personal art coaching, someone says, well, what does that mean? Sometimes you send in a picture to me, okay? And then I'll look at it, and I'll look at the lesson, or your example of what you were trying to paint. And I might just make one suggestion, you know, make the tree thinner, this is nice, a little less blue here, a little shadow here. It's having a professional pair of eyes kind of look at your stuff. It's kind of nice. All right, it makes a difference. I see people, if you can do it, it makes really a huge difference. All right, we're taking a little phthalo blue and cad yellow medium. All right, you guys with me? And making sort of this, and then taking a tiny bit of cad red Just tone that down just a bit, like less than 1%. And we want to come up here into our, I got a big glob of paint here. We want to put our, we've got a leaf here. Now we start with the dark color. Obviously the leaf is darker, you know, is not as darker than I want it eventually. And then we've got something here coming out here. Now I'm going to wipe the brush off and go right into the yellow. And I'm going to come here while it's still wet. See, and I'm going to just lighten that tip. Pinch the brush. Don't rinse it. Just pinch the extra paint off. A little more yellow. And lighten the tip. And you see how that now it's blending into the background. All right, because it's still wet. Okay, so here's this little bit of light. Okay. Let's try it. Let's try a little bit of that Naples yellow on it too, and I'll show you what I'm talking about because it'll lighten it up some, like that. Look at how that's lighting up. Even a little bit of white will do it, right here on the edge. And you'll see me wipe the brush, and then just basically, this is one of those paintings where you just do a tiny little bit and get really good results. And let's just come out here, top of that with these two little leaves. They're sticking up here. And now, believe it or not, we've got. Take a little bit of yellow and green, this sort of same colors. You've got a leaf that's coming back here on this side of your vase that's coming out this way. Like that little green leaf, and I think it could be slightly darker right in here. And a little bit, maybe some yellow oxide. That's more of a gold yellow. And you'll see me tap off the brush. Just pinch it, don't rinse, just pinching it. And coming in here with a little bit of the yellow oxide and blending that color in like that. So there's this leaf hanging behind the handle. Make sure I've got that light enough. Okay. There we go. All right. So there's not a lot to this picture, except that what I would tell you is that when you're switching from yellows and greens and stuff, you've got to make sure that you're drawing each step. Because if you get the yellow into the green, it's going to mess it up. And this is one of these kind of reminds me of how a lot of people do watercolor. It's very, very precise. All right. So let's see if we can't take some yellow now and some magenta. And let's make this bright orange color. Okay. And I'm going to see if how that will do. Got kind of too much paint on the brush, so we kind of wiped it off. Now, this is almost like a butterfly shape. See that? And then here's this little one here. Now this will not be the final color. I could have done these white too, but we'll see if this will work. This will take a couple coats for this to show up. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to put these flowers in. And the purple's dry, so that should be pretty safe here. Here's the purple. We're saying here's a flower here. Then we started a new group over here. Kind of you're really painting each petal. It's not a mass of color. It's each petal. Okay, is what you're painting. And I don't think it has to make a lot of sense. You know, you can kind of, I don't know, when I look at these, I don't know that they make that much sense to me, but there we go. But what I can tell you is each one is individually painted. And then this little flower here, it's circular, it's all by itself. And your brush strokes will make a difference on this, okay? Like that. So each flower is individually painted. All right, there you go. Now, that's not bright enough, okay? That's not bright enough at all, but this is a start where we get it this far, right? We've kind of, you know, outlined it in here. We'll have to do a few coats of paint to get this to show up. All right, so the first thing I want to do is sort of dry that, but it's already pretty, isn't it? It's kind of cool looking.
Do you remember the old dead guy this is from?
This is the guy we did last week too. It's his name is Redon, R-E-D-O-N, Odilon Redon. He was French.
Oui, oui.
This was done in, I don't know, right around 1900. little vase. Pretty though, huh? And it's just, I mean, I think it's really pretty. I like the kind of almost a faux leather background and you know, on this. I think it's very, very pretty. As long as I'm into some greens here, I'm going to take a little bit of green and I'm going to apply just with the outside. I'm going to apply a little bit of a part of a leaf, all right, like that. And up here like this, 2 little dots. This is real subtle stuff here, honestly. And then let's see. Yeah, that's it. That's all we're doing. Don't see anything else. I mean, he's got some green in here, but it's so dark inside the flowers. Like, for instance, yeah, no, I'm just going to leave it alone. Just leave it alone and dry it. This is why I have to dry it. This is one of those things where you just kind of, this is why we did the background first, so that you could see how to do it, so you could just really focus on this. So can we dry it now? I say, old boy, can I turn the hairdryer on now? Are you prepared? Not to scare you. We don't want to scare you here.
All right. Let's take a look at, this is our Winter Village. This is our downloadable lessons that are for sale. This is on our gingercookondemand.com website. We have all of our different lessons that are downloadable and ownable for those that don't have good internet connections or want to put them onto their portable devices. So this is something to consider. And let me get rid of that. Somebody asked, what are the donations used for? They are used for scholarshiping people in, or supplies.
What supplies? We just wrote
running this operation.
You know, just imagine when you think about the time and it takes to and money it takes to put on all these videos every week, and the amount of paint and materials. There are a lot of artists that do get their supplies from manufacturers. Sometimes they do. The thing of it is if we were to do that, then we would be beholden to that person out of that company.
We don't like to be beholden.
Well, I want to tell you what it is. You know me. I'm just that's the one thing you'll get from me is I like to tell you how it is, and I wouldn't feel like I could do that if that were the case. Okay, so we're going to start with some yellow now, and some cad red medium, and we're going to up our game. All right, you like it?
Up our game.
We're going to come back up here, and this is our second coat of red on our flowers. Remember, it's each petal though, so you can't emphasize that enough. Each petal. You want to do this one petal at a time. Here we go. It's cad red medium, a little yellow. This is pretty dark here.
Oh, that's nice and bright now.
That's nice and bright now. Just red's one of those colors. And let's see, he's got something kind of curving around this way, and then this one's lapping this way, and he's got one coming this way. I'm going to put a little more yellow because this top part here is the brightest one. And we made orange first with magenta, and now we're making it with cad red medium and yellow. Okay, and then here's our little petal. So again, you just have to there's nothing too tricky about these flowers, only in the sense that it's like one little petal at a time. That's what I would tell you. And like, for instance, if I put a little bit, here's a little bit of this Naples yellow, which is that almost white color, but if I just tap that in here at the outside edge of this, and then pinch the brush, and then just look what happens when I make it disappear. See, there's not a lot of work in these, but it's subtle. Do you know what I mean? The separations, if you put a little paint like that, because it's still wet, then you work the red into it, so you have a little bit of a highlight somewhere. This is one of those things where you wouldn't think it's really nothing. See, you've got that little spot there. Then I pinch the brush, then come back into the orange, and just barely leave that little light edge. See what I'm doing? So you just one of those things where you can just have a plan, right? You say, okay, so I want the outside edge of this, so I'm pinching the brush, coming back with a little the red color, and just sneaking up on it, and leaving just kind of working it in while it's still wet. See, I left that little highlight on that petal. And that's what I'm talking about. And here, maybe I'll just take a little bit of a lighter orange color right here on these. Here we go, like that. And there's a little tiny bit of yellow on my brush. See, on that side, just kind of scoop it around. And already we've got these bright, down, pure cad red up here. We've got some flowers that are really showing up, right? Okay, there we go. And the same thing up here. I'll put a little cad red up here, pure cad red, a couple places. Not the whole things, but maybe just on the bottom like that. And look how beautifully and bright these are. Little, just pure paint. Flowers are one of the few things you can paint right out of the tubes. You know, you can mix or not, but paint it out of the tubes is not a terrible thing. And maybe one petal in this flower is a little bit darker than another, so something like that. So I'd say that's pretty nice. Now, if I'm switching to yellow, which I'm going to, here's the thing: you want to make sure that your brush is clean. That's why you'll always see me test this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to come up here like this, and I want just pure yellow. And let's see what we've got. This is cad yellow medium. All right, here's this flower. And I've got one in the background, like that. And it's okay. I think I want a little yellow oxide with this. It's too bright, so let's try that. That's the yellow with some yellow oxide, and look what a difference that made. It's sometimes the subtlest changes in a mix that will make a difference. Make sure I've got this petal come there. I want to make sure I've got a petal. All right, so I've got two flowers there. I will have to differentiate them in a little bit by putting a center, but that's pretty good. This is what we've got. Okay, so if we have that, then I can come back into the orange and then say, just using the edge of my brush, I'm going to just say there's 4 little stems coming down this way, like that. There, done. And then maybe did he have a stem here? No, just here. And it should be a little oranger. Here, a little yellow. Here we go. This is why Ginger likes the angle brushes, because you can pinch them, you can get this great angle. So while all that's happily drying, okay, all of that's happily drying, let's take, he made this green color, so blue-green color, so yellow and phthalo blue. Wow. All right, now I'm going to rinse the brush because that's way more than I want. Now I'm going to come over here with some white, just ignore that, and grab a little of it and move it in there. And a little bit more phthalo blue. Kind of making sort of this robin's egg blue. Do you see that? But it's very, very light, okay? Like that. It's very, very light. And I'm going to come under here, like this, on this side of my vase, and right here where my handle goes. And that's the only place this color is. Then I'm going to pinch the brush with some ultramarine blue, and just using some thin lines like this. I'm going to come under here like this and do right where the bottom of the handle is. There's a line under this vase like that. Okay. So it's pretty. It's ultramarine blue, maybe a little magenta. That's for sure what it is. You guys remember that my mother had some china like this when I was a kid, plates, and they were all, what did they call this, John? There was a name for this type of pottery, this blue and white pottery.
I remember that. Began with a W, didn't it? What? Oh, wow.
I don't know. And there's like this blue line here. Now I'm going to do that. So where's my mister? I'm going to mist the paint here. There was this, I'm going to turn this sideways because I've got to paint this dark blue line on this outline on this face like this. All right. So there's this blue line here, and then it curls down. There's like a little knob here, and it's curling. Okay, so now that's wider than what I want. So what's the best way to fix that? And I just, I made it a little bit wider, but at least I got the outside edge the way I want it. So what you got to do, this is so tricky, but it's so easy to do too. You dry that, Just try this as you go.
Hey! There you go again.
We're going to dry this for a second, okay? All right, we're drying.
It's still noisy for us.
Okay, you want to dry?
Thank you. Boy, I'm telling you. You got to be quick. Hey, it was Wedgwood.
Wedgwood. Well, yeah, there was Wedgwoods too, but this was something else. This was
about Blue Willow China.
Yeah, that was it. Blue Willow
China.
China.
No, we had Wedgwood in Ohio. It was Wedgwood.
Oh, you had the fancy Wedgwood stuff?
Hello.
It was Ohio. Really? You had that? Huh.
Yeah. We had the good stuff.
I saw that in the stores.
Yeah, Wedgwood.
We didn't have any, but I saw it. We had the Blue Willow stuff. Well, my mother did. Then for summer, we had some stuff that was on, I think maybe it was my aunt had it or one of us had it. It was these flowers, these sort of really pretty flowers. I know that's a little vague. Now look, see how we just sort of fixed that? And this is what I'm talking about here when you're talking about, you know, having to do a little bit of, here's a little white here. Okay, now I want a little bit of pure white here. There's a little bit of a white highlight right here on the vase, right here, and on this side. Now you can kind of see it because we made the vase kind of pink, okay? So that's about the only white that you're going to see, and maybe a little bit down here on the bottom. Now you see how this brush is sort of coming apart because I've used this so much. It's wearing out. They do wear out. Your brushes will wear out. So you've got to just keep that in mind when you're trying to do detail work. Here's a smaller one. This is a 1/4 inch, and we're going to do a little bit of that now on our vase. And I know that, for instance, I'm going to say I've got a line here and a dot here, and I'm going to put a dot here like that.
Well, we need
and
to
the reason I'm doing, yeah, okay.
We had another donation come in from Frida.
Oh, thank you.
I probably said it wrong again.
Thank you very much. You see how, look where my hand is.
Where's your hand?
Right, so my hand's here, my finger's right
so
next to there, and I'm guiding it, absolutely guiding it. Just using the last 3 hairs of this brush. Like that, see? Last 3 hairs of the brush. Now, what I liked about this vase a lot, okay, what I really liked about it was it had a little bit of blue right here on this there, right there, a little bit of blue. It had this beautiful design. If you need to, and then the outside, this outside has some blue. Do you see that? You can see it in his picture. He has, there may be a little of the white showing, but he's got the little, he's got this outside blue line. And, okay, so I would say, you know, you may want to, and this is not a terrible idea, because I thought of it, it must be brilliant, right?
It's gotta be.
You may want to sketch it in with a colored pencil. You know what I mean? If you're not sure, if you're really not sure how it would be, I don't think it really matters. Who's going to know, right? But I'm just saying that you may want to, at least in your mind, kind of know where it's going. So we're going to say this is coming up like this, around like this. This comes around here like this. Almost like a question mark goes into the vase like that. And then it's got a long one here. And you want new paint for each one. Okay, there's this long one. The harder you push, the fatter the line. This joins over here. And curves around very close to this, right next to the handle here. More paint. Makes this loop, this awesome loop. But again, you could have a totally different design on your vase. You don't have to do this one. It's probably the vase he had. It's probably what it looked like. So we did this design. Everybody thought this would be, you know, tricky, but it's, I don't think you're going to find it tricky. Here's this sort of leaf pattern right here. So we're going to make the leaf and then up here into the skinny.
Janelle would like to know, can you sketch in with an oil pastel?
No. Don't do that. No, don't do an oil pastel, Jeanette. No, bad idea. Can you sketch in?
No oil.
No, you don't want to do that. Okay, so it's got these little hooky things off of it. Now there's little leaves up here. See these little leaves, these little dots? He's got a little dot up here, a little leaf. This is coming around here like this. And then he's really had a fun time here. He smeared some stuff. He had a good time with this one. He just sort of smeared some leaves. I think we're going to do less smearing. I don't know. It might have been a happy accident, you know. He ended up with some leaf smudgies.
Beth would like to know, could you use a Picasso pen?
Yeah, you could at least you could sketch it if you knew where you're going. You could sketch it in with a pen. I think when you look at his artwork, though, you're going to see that I have the pens, but you're going to see that it's you want the brushwork. You know, some of the small detail up here, maybe under here and down around, you might want it, but I think you're going to find it. Here's a little bit of white here. I'm just going to take this down here with the handle like that. But that's and then it's darker here. So let me take a little bit of magenta in blue and then say this part here was a little darker on the vase. I'm not sure why. There was another little leaf right here coming up this way. Okay, there we go. I think that's kind of cute. You guys think that's kind of cool? I think it's kind of neat. Okay, so then we need to put the wall back. So here's a little bit of burnt sienna. Right in this corner, we're just going to put the wall back to define the edge of the vase. See how we did that? Right there. So you're going, that's cool. Yeah, so that, if we did that, then what? So if we do a few little dots of the burnt sienna in here in the center, and then kind of do a little outline right here like this on this leaf. This is just burnt sienna. You barely see it. It's very small. There's just like a little shadowy thing here. That's this flower. Okay. Get it? I mean, it's very, very subtle stuff, right? And then I'm going to take a little bit of the Naples yellow, but again, you could use, you know, white and a little raw umber and yellow would work too. And I'm going to tap in these little tiny plants like that. So this little Naples yellow, little tiny bit of burnt sienna, I think, kind of make these an off brown. Now, all over here, there's like these little, more Naples yellow, are these little dots of plant. And they kind of they separate. This is interesting. They're coming through the front of this one, like up here like that. They're in front of this little plant so that we separated the two yellow flowers. Okay, and then we're doing these little dots of light all next to this green leaf, which makes the green leaf show up. And then right up above here, we've got this little, we're just dotting it with the corner of the brush. And we're dotting these little, whatever this is, I don't know what these are, but they're little. Okay, little dots of something. It just, you know, for me, it doesn't really matter what they are as long as we know that they're there. Okay. And let's see, he put some out this way too. They're coming behind that plant right there. And how far out are they going? They're going, I think they could be out a little further, maybe a little brighter. Let's put some white in them now. Now let's take some white. Ooh, too much white. A few little dots of white. For them to show up. Okay. You're going, wow. I mean, that's kind of, don't you think that's kind of neat?
Looks like you're missing a loop on the bottom of the vase is being detected by our astute audience.
Okay, a brush just fell on the floor. Let me grab it. Okay. I might be missing a loop, but I'm all excited about my white flowers here. So I'm going to come back up here with a few little dots of white here. Get a new rag. That it's all full of paint now. Okay, so I'm going to put a few little white dots here. There, see? Oh, nice. All right, so you're saying I'm missing a loop
Right in
here.
your bottom.
Oh, I
Bottom
see it
center.
right down here, like this. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I've got one that's coming off and going this way. Oh. Okay, how's that? Ha!
There you go.
I'm gonna make this one a little more obvious. Okay. And there's actually a little bit of blue right there on that handle. Okay, so you can see where we're doing pretty good here, I think. Don't you think so? I mean, just you're thinking, wow, you thought this was going to be harder, didn't you? I mean, it's time consuming, but I don't think it's harder. Does that make sense? I want to make sure that I've got this one. I need a little petal coming up this way, kind of connecting these. Because that gave me this dark surface, and I'm going to go back here with the Cad Red. Okay. All right, there. So it's just kind of brighten up. It doesn't hurt to come back and brighten up the flowers again. Just whatever you did before, just give it another bit of brightness. And let's see. Oh, yeah, there was two little green. I know this sounds kind of silly, but as long as we're being detectives here, kind of, he had two little green dots of paint here. Okay. So, all right, now, where are we? Yeah, and then this was a little bit darker right there. Okay. And it was dark in between these, there you go. So you see that, you see the flowers. Now, if we were to take some yellow oxide and yellow again, could we do another coat on this flower right here? A little oxide and yellow, a little combination. This would be where, sunflower yellow or maybe one of the other yellows. I try to use mostly what we all have because I don't want you to have to go out and buy stuff. Try to make what we have work. That makes sense. And this petal should fold in this way. All right, so now this is our flowers, I think, which we did pretty well with, don't you guys? And now we're just going to play with our background just a tiny little bit and make this all work again. Here we go. We need another one right here. Okay, make sure that's showing up.
We'd like to thank Miss Evans for the donation.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so if I'm going to, I'm looking at this, I'm going to zoom out. Oh, you know what? There's some green in the middle of this. Now that I've got my iPad, let me just show you. Can you see this? This is my iPad. So now I'm zooming in to see what's there. Do you see that? And there's some little green dots in the middle of this.
Lucky has little buds back in there, too.
Yeah, like, there you go. And then there's some little green leaves. Wow, just missed that. You just got to get close on this, right? There's a little green leaf. There's a little bright green leaf here. Okay. And then there's a stem. There's actually a stem down from this flower right there. And another little light edge on the leaf. Okay. There we go. All right. Very good. And there was a darker, this almost looks like a darker spot here in this flower right here, right there. There was a dark spot right there. Okay, I'll put that in. Okay, so there we go. That's good.
A couple of the members have noticed that you're not putting a shadow on, and we're looking at the original shadow. There's no shadow on the original either.
No, he didn't put an original. What we're going to do is he didn't. I mean, he just broke all the rules. Didn't he? I mean, I'll tell you what, he broke all the rules. He got this tiny little vase is swarming in this giant canvas, okay?
Yeah.
He broke all the rules. So let's just see if we can't do something with our background again. I'm going to take some yellow and orange. A little bit, maybe Naples, kind of this color here. I want to do, let's see, that's not going to work. How about this? Some gold, maybe some burnt sienna. There we go. Now I've got to paint this on here. Now what I want to do is come under here like this, and I'm going to do a second coat on this. Going to pinch the brush off. Now I'm going to do, let's see, take a little bit of burnt sienna. And I'm going to just, if you remember what your background colors are, you can fool around with that a little bit and just say, we're just going to say that it's a little bit lighter here where our table is. He's implying a table, okay? He sort of implies a table. And then it all just sort of disappears. But he sort of implied this table here, which is nice. I mean, I see that. And then he's got, you know, so if I'm at still my background colors here, right? So I'm looking at his overall picture, okay? And you know, if I want to add some more colors to his background, I can do that, okay? I just want you to see that it's possible. If you want to jazz up, you know, if your background's right, or you want to add a little bit more jazziness to it, right? You can, as long as it's dry and you've got layers. You can fool around with this and you know, just add some more color if you feel like it needs it. I'll just kind of, he's got something going up here around the vase, so I might just add that. You know, you're not stuck with whatever you painted the last time, all right? And definitely not stuck with that. You can certainly change it. Now that's a little lighter than I want, so what would I do with that? Maybe I'll put a little burnt sienna with it. Like that. Just go right over it.
Mix it on the canvas.
Yeah. So that's, I'm just saying, you can come in here like this. So I noticed that he's got a little bit light right next to this vase here, and you could, I mean, you can do that, right? You can play with that. Now, what if we were to put a shadow? I mean, he didn't, but let's just say, I just got, it seems to me he's got light kind of coming down this way. So
well,
what
yeah,
if we did put a shadow?
Like slightly.
So we could put a shadow and just do it ourselves. You know, it doesn't, you know, one of the nice things about,
He's certainly
you know,
not going to complain.
duplicating, you know, or replicating the work of someone else's, you can criticize the heck out of it. It's real gratifying, isn't it?
What's he going to do, right?
You know, he's dead. What's he going to do? You know, I can't believe you did it, you know, whatever. You know, Mon Dieu, sacré bleu, c'est terrible. You know, on and on he goes, right? But, you know, get over it. Okay, I'm just saying, then, you know, you can just sort of do that. I mean, I kind of like that a little better, and I kind of like some of the dark here. I'm just saying, I'm all about contrast, you know, so if I'm, you know, wherever there's a dark, there's a light, and I like a little balance of contrast, so.
Oh, we have rolled over 45,011 subscribers.
Thank you so much. We really would have loved to have been able to get 50,000 by Christmas, and it would be very nice at the end of the year at any rate, right? But that would be just super.
Otherwise, we're going to become the singing artists next year.
Yeah, John keeps threatening to sing, right? You don't really want that to happen, I promise you. You just don't. You see, I'm just kind of using up the rest of my paint here. See, and that's brighter than I want, but let me just put a little. I'm just saying that you've got some leeway here when you're painting this in. You should just do. I think I want a little more burnt sienna in that. There, okay. So that makes me happy, and kind of bring that all up in here like this and sort of just make it disappear. All right, so I put a little shadow in it. I think what we could do, see if you agree. Okay, I think that these flowers here are not dark enough. Right here, these ones here, they need to, these are not, this needs coat B here. This just needs another coat of dark right in here like that. Whatever these were here. This was another group of flowers right there. And just kind of made that a little darker, and I'm going to make it a little darker too, right next to the vase, just right under here like that. Kind of balance that out, and use a little water, just dissipate it.
And then a finger.
Yeah, just smudge it out a little bit, okay? I mean, that personally think that looks better. And then this is what I love about acrylics. You know, you can come back and reshape something just by the outside wall. See what I mean? You can come back here, and if you're not sure about something, you can come back with a small brush. Doesn't have to be a big brush. Yeah, I'm barely touching it, but see, went back in and reshaped that. And let me just, well, you know, it's the thing of it is, this stuff's so old that it might have been different. You know, when it was new. Does that make sense? When it was brand new, it might have been different. So, you know, it's hard to say, but...
Now, if you were going to paint this originally yourself, would you have done it in a portrait fashion instead?
Yeah, I would have done it as a long, skinny picture. I mean, you've got all this picture here.
I know.
You know, just...
And his background's not as attractive as yours.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. But, yeah, you're right. I would have done it differently. But, I mean, you know, we're just you know, and that's, you know, what can you learn from the old dead guys, you know? Well, stuff like that, right? See, I can come around here like this. And you can play with these, you know, once you get some paint on this, you can play with it, okay? And the same thing here with the white here. Like, for instance, he's got these little flowers. I might come up here like this, make some of these a little bolder like that, a little bit of white flowers right there. And then what if, come on, it's our picture, right? Now we've gone and done it, right? What if there were a few little flowers that just hit the, I don't know what happens to your vases, but this is what happens to mine. You know, what if they're just, well, they just fall, you know, they want water, they're needy, you know, they want something, obviously not giving them, and they end up with, oftentimes on the floor around the vase as opposed to in the vase, okay? Oh, I see a couple of things we could do, but anyway, so what if we said there was a couple of flowers right there, a little flower, yeah, I'm just saying, you know.
Oh, my flippy flappy thingy. Sorry for the earthquake, people.
All right. You're doing something here?
Yeah, I can't do my tippies anymore.
Okay.
So we only got a zoom right now.
All right. All right. So again, another little coat of paint there, and then maybe some green. Maybe we'll put one green little leaf here. I don't know, just there. I don't know. That to me works. Kind of. I don't know if it works for you. That to me kind of works. And again, you wouldn't have to do it, but this is the fun part of, you know, this kind of thing. Is you've got the options. And I think he had, there was some green on here too. I'm going to put some green back here on that. All right. There's a little green highlight on whatever that is back there. And
there's a very dark leaf back there.
It's a dark leaf, or it might be a dark leaf. It looks like a purple flower. It could be anything, really. And there's a little separation here, a couple little dots there. Just not going to do too much, but there were these little... You guys can kind of see it as well as me, what was here. Okay, so there you go. So that is our little vase with the flowers. I'm not sure about this right here. Did you catch this? I'm looking at a monitor, and just want to blend that out right there. But I think it's nice to know you can go back with a vase like this. Go back and you can touch up your background. Yeah, I think for me is if you thought about it and you did this and this, I think personally it's a better looking painting as a vertical.
Absolutely.
Just saying. Don't you guys think so? I mean, I
don't know. I really like your background, so I think I'd leave it like you did yours.
Well, but anyway, you've got the option, and you could do this on a long, skinny canvas. You know, maybe make the vase a little bit longer. Now that you kind of see how to do it, it really wasn't that hard a vase, was it, to do? You know, just pick something that you wanted to do, and we've got the bright yellow, and I'd say there, a little bit of Yeah, there you go. A little bit of yellow. So I'm going to set, I said what we were doing when we're talking about stuff. Okay, John, do you have the picture that our members are going to get this week? You know, if you're a member at gingercooklive.gallery, and you're one of our VLL members.
The one you did this afternoon?
Yeah, the one I did this afternoon. If you're a member, if you're a member of us, I just want to say, if you're a member of oh yeah, okay, here it is. Do you guys love, this is a Monet, and it's a gal reading a book in the field of flowers with an umbrella.
And you just called it Meadow.
And he just called it In the Meadow. This is the, again, we'll have a traceable for this. And this is our, it's really pretty, I thought. And do you have the boat one that goes with it? You know, some years ago we did a rowboat. Some of you our members may have done that. I think this would go so perfectly with it. We put it over there on the table. Anyway, this is a Monet. This is for our VLL lesson, weekly lesson. Here's the rowboat that we have as one of our lessons. Look how cool these are together. I mean, couldn't you? You just almost looks like it's her boat, doesn't it? These were done like 2 years apart. This is a Monet. This is an original Ginger Cook. I think that's kind of cool, don't you? That we've got this, and so we like to feature the old dead guys as well as the new new guys like me. We feature the new and the old, right? But if you want to become a member at gingercooklive.gallery, I think that's pretty cool. And we do everything from the very basics. Someone said, you guys are too hard. I'm going to show you that. You guys, everything's too difficult. No, we have the best beginner lessons on the internet right on our...
Can you move yourself to the... Thank you.
Yeah, we have the best beginner lessons, okay? Imaginable. Really awesome beginner lessons. And...
Okay.
Just
as you can see, she has started to paint ahead of Alexa. This is supposed to be a 10-minute contest. Sammy just put the link in there, the tech bear. That's the link to the contest. You have to put in your name, first name, last name, email, phone is not necessary, and the word for today will be...
teapot.
Teapot. So where it says, write what you were told, put in teapot. So again,
someone is going to take this home.
Somebody's going to take this home. Alexa, I need a 10-minute timer.
Okay, whatever I can get done in 10 minutes, right?
Yep, you're going. And it's going to be brushes down in 10 minutes.
All right. Well, wow, you're a hard taskmaster.
Hey, well, you know, it's Alexa. You know,
you give me. I need a 5-minute warning.
Well, I'll ask her once in a while how much time's left. All right, so if you would like to own this original Ginger Cook that's being painted right before your very eyes, go to that link. Sammy put it in again. There you go. Fill it out. Remember what you were told to write. And this could be yours.
Okay, this will be fun, right?
I think it's fun.
I think this is a fun thing to do. I mean, we want to...
there's also on there, do you want to be in our newsletter mailing list? If you do not...
Please don't say yes.
Please don't. Say no, because it costs us money to have you.
It's a random drawing, you guys, so...
Alexa will be picking the winner.
Yeah, it really has nothing to do with things. We're happy to do a newsletter. We have some exciting things that we do on our newsletter.
Yeah, we have somebody that helped us do that today, Miss Judy. I haven't read it yet. Thank you, Miss Judy. She gave us something.
Oh, she did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh, that was nice.
She goes, are you guys going to do a newsletter? I go, Judy, it's on the table. She goes, can I help? I go, absolutely.
Yeah.
So she got us started. Hopefully we'll get that out before we take off again this weekend. Ginger, how is it that your paint is not all dried out by now?
Because I put out enough of it, and then I missed it at once, but I put out enough of it, you know, so it doesn't dry out. And I'd say that was the main thing. So I put out, you know, just enough.
She puts out a pile of paint.
Yeah, you know, for sure I'm putting out.
When is the next newsletter? We're going to go for, like, the next week. You
know, we've got an auction going for our original artwork. And,
yes, we do.
You know, a wonderful auction, and we staggered it. And we made it where you can, if you want to buy an original Ginger Cook for Christmas, we've staged it so you can make 3 installments if you want to, instead of just having to pay for the whole thing. Auctions are fun. We do the way below what the gallery would charge for a picture. We start these paintings of my original artwork. I mean, you pick up real deals. The smallest ones, start at like $45. Okay, and which I think is really extremely reasonable, and okay, let me know how we're doing here, right?
Alexa, how much time's on the timer?
You have one timer, a 10-minute timer, with about 6 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Oh, we're in good shape, aren't we?
Oh, you're going to nail this thing, even with that head start.
Yeah, we're going to nail it. All right.
I think you were a little nervous. That's why you went for the head start.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So remember, if you want to join our Facebook private club, the gals can pop that in there for you as well. You have to answer 3 questions. They're not hard questions. They're really simple questions.
Just kind of, so what we're trying to avoid is,
the riffraff.
people, well, I don't even say riffraff because that sounds rude and snotty, but what we're trying to avoid is, there's people that kind of troll. I swear someone's written my name on a bathroom wall. I get the weirdest friends requests on my regular Facebook page from all guys who do not live in Houston and pretending that they do live in Houston. I don't even know where they get my name. But, they don't have any interest in me or art, or maybe it's a scam. Who knows? It just really, at this point, doesn't matter. I don't even care. But that's stuff you can live without. So, and we don't want people stalking you either, or saying unkind things about your stuff. So we're just looking for artists that want to be part of our club, that want to be supportive of the other artists there. And
I think we need to do a little survey on the riffraff terminology. I mean, it goes back to the 50s.
What, riffraff?
Yeah. And since when is that so derogatory?
Well, riffraff was generally homeless people or something, was riffraff, I think.
Oh, and see, that's not what I thought riffraff was.
Yeah, that's what riffraff was homeless people.
Maybe it's the East Coast versus the Midwest, or the West Coast.
Well, it might have been.
That's interesting.
It might have been. Okay.
Renee's want to know what auction. Currently, we have 40 pieces of original artwork up for auction on gingercookauction.com. Basically, the walls get filled, and I have no place to put all the paintings, so I say, Ginger, we need to move them out. And so we move them out. And it's your opportunity to own an original Ginger Cook at wholesale pricing.
Yeah. And, a lot of artists, for instance, that will on a deal like this, they're not going to sell artwork, say, from a lesson like this, because as the older the lessons are, the more valuable the artwork is. Okay, so they keep them. A lot of artists won't sell any of their stuff, their original work. And, if my work, suddenly at some point, I'm not saying it will, but if it did, and it's happened for, in the past, right? For instance, if it suddenly, gained in value, why shouldn't you benefit from that too? I think it's okay. John and I feel like that might be a nice, kind of a nice thing to do here, like that. There you go. All right, there we go, like
Alexa,
that.
how much time's left on the timer?
You have one timer, a 10-minute timer, with about 3 minutes and 20 seconds left.
3 minutes and 20 seconds there, kiddo.
Okay.
Did you ever have kiddo? Did you get kiddo? You had kiddo, didn't you?
I got kiddo.
Yeah, we always had kiddo.
We always did that, did you? Or yeah, okay.
Somebody thought that Riff Raff was the butler.
I was the butler? This was fun. This would have been a fun painting, right? Anybody else think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I think this could have been fun. I can just, you know, play with this a little bit.
No, you can't play with it too much. You're going to be running out of time. I love this teapot painting. Teapot is the word to enter. Let's see how we're doing. Remember, when the timer's up, there'll be no more entries. Alexa will cut us off. Alexa, how much time's on the timer?
You have one timer, a 10-minute timer, with about 2 minutes left.
Ooh, 2 minutes, Miss Ginger. Are you feeling the pressure?
Not really. I'm actually enjoying it. You know, it's fun. So what can you do in 10 minutes? If you ever thought you give yourself that chance too, you know, what could you paint in 10 minutes?
You
know, that's Ginger's famous, just, there we go. I think that's fun. I don't think what to have to do anymore. People always say, what could you do with a Posca pen besides sign it? Which is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to sign it. Put my red slash through it. You guys know why I put the red slash through the name, don't you?
No, I don't, Ginger. Why do you do that?
You know it, but John's being facetious, but he knows it, right?
I do, but we have new viewers, so no, Ginger, I don't. Why do you do that?
Because when you're, you know, everybody needs a people, you know, your signature is real important. And you need something that's unique to you. And what I discovered years ago when I was in France is when they leave a city, they don't say leaving Paris or leaving La Bastide or Carcassonne. They just say, they have the name and then a big red slash through it, and that means that you've left town. So when I put the big red slash through the painting, that means I'm done with the picture.
No, that means we have 20 minutes to go.
20 minutes?
Well, that's typically what it is with you.
Well, this is true, but it's the intent's there, right?
Right. There you go. And there you go. You sign it and you go back to it.
Well, yeah, because I had some time. You said I did.
Well, Alexa hasn't stopped you yet.
You know, you said I had some time, so I'm just using a little Posca pen here to... All right, I'm done. I'll stop it. This will be somebody's.
How much time's left on the timer?
You have one timer, a 10-minute timer, with less than 10 seconds left.
Less than seconds. There you go, you guys.
Time is up. And you did it.
Time is up. There you go. There's our picture.
Could you go back the other way with it?
Yeah.
Alexa off.
Now, all right. So we did this in 10 minutes. This is what we took, an hour about to paint?
Yeah, an hour for that one.
Yeah. Do you have any pictures that you want to show for the auction if anybody's interested? And while he's doing that, I want you to say, John's going to figure out who won this original Ginger Cook. You see, but you know, there you go. Kind of fun, right? And that would be a good thing. I want to show you this one more time for our members. Are we zoomed in or out?
I have to zoom you out.
You'll have to zoom me out. All right. So, John, I wanted to show you.
These two.
Yeah, he's going to have to
get that out of the way because it's still like
yeah. So, John's going to put this out of the way now. One of you guys has won this. I don't know how many entries we had. These are some of the paintings that we have. Remember, this is a YouTube tutorial, you guys. This is a YouTube tutorial.
Hold on a second.
And that was like last month. If you haven't done this face, also by Rodin, by the way, Rodin, same guy. But I love this with all the colors. Doesn't this remind you of the beach because of the turquoise and the blue vases? I love that. This is one of the auction pieces from me, you know, that we're doing. And we decided that because it's Christmas, we decided that we would do Van Gogh's Angel. This is going to be up for auction. We thought that you know, this was Van Gogh's Angel after Michelangelo's and Michelangelo did one first, and this was anyway. This is Van Gogh did his own version of that, and this is my version of Van Gogh's, and this will be one of our auction pieces. If you go, what's the auction site, John?
Ginger Cook. Auction.com.
And if you guys remember this from YouTube, this is a finger painting, Don't you love it? With all this was all done with the finger paint. If you haven't seen this video on YouTube, this is fun if you want to paint it yourself. If you want to own mine, that's great. Some years ago, a couple years ago, this was one of my favorite pieces for our members, this basket of pansies. I love this one. This is one that's going to be for auction. I'll move that. And we've got this, it's original design by me. You know, my reading glasses are near books and coffee. That's sort of my thing. And I have a whole set of dishes. I made this up, but a whole set of dishes that have little chef guys on them. I don't know, this is sort of says kind of my life. If I'd put a paintbrush somewhere, a paint tube, it would have been more. But this is a lot about, you know, kind of who I am as a person off camera, is a real bookworm, and with my reading glasses. Someone asked me, do I wear reading glasses? Yeah, sure. I have all kinds of pairs, see, different sizes. And then we've got, this was one of my favorites for an auction, for our auction. This one is a Tuscan Sunrise, and I love this one. And again, 8 by 10. Again, this is up for, you know, for, you know, biddable piece. So if you like these, you know, not to, you know, whoops, 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 there goes my iPad. Hang on.
Okay.
So I'm going to just, that's that. Now, if you zoom back out, I want to show you what our members are going to get. This is not for auction. This, in fact, I'm going to keep this particular painting in my own library because, again, this is what reminds me of what we're doing. And you zoom back out on me, right?
Yep.
Is this was another one of these old dead artists, Harnett, and this had been one of my favorite of his. This pile of books, and then he's got all these stickers. Now in his, he had his all written with different things. Do I have his painting? I think I do. I have his photograph somewhere. Yeah, here. I just want you to see it. See? I mean, I think, see, that's what I painted. But on his stickers, he had free publishing, and he had some different stuff. And I didn't know what that was. So I think what I love about this painting is that when you decide to paint it, you know, I signed my name here, put some different things like part of the words. You can see love and hope, and even YouTube I wrote on there. I thought, but you should personalize your own bits of torn paper. That's what that was the purpose behind this. And I love the fact that he didn't write on the books. There's no titles on any of the books. I think that's really cool. But I love this pile of books because, again, this really, I'm a real bookworm. Just absolutely, I'm reading all the time. If I'm not painting, I'm reading, or I'm listening to an audiobook and painting. And this is also one of our videos that was one of his too. So if you've done this one, you're going to love to do the book one that goes with it. So you guys, that's just too cool, isn't it? Can
you put out the winning piece now?
Now here's our winning piece. Now who won this, John?
Well, we have to have Alexa picks it. You slide it to your right a little bit.
So they're right. So how that works is, you know, you filled out the form, those of you that entered, and then
the form has a number assigned to it.
So you have a number.
So we're going to go from 225 to number, wow, it's a long list, very long list, to 380.
380. So that was the last one?
Yep, 225 to 380.
So you should, yeah, so you
I've
should.
done that.
Yeah, John's done all that. So it's
all right,
225 to 380, all right?
Alexa, pick me a number between 200 and, what did I say?
85.
No, that's the word we're ending.
I don't know that one.
Hold on, Alexa. I'll get with you in a second.
Sorry,
225.
I don't know that.
Okay.
Alexa, pick a number between 225 and 380.
Your random number between 225 and 380 is 289.
289 is the winner. And the winner is Sherry Mitchell. Come on down, Sherry Mitchell. You are the big winner of this painting. Sherry Mitchell, you have to be present to win this. You have 30 seconds to say I'm here. We're not going to do that, are we?
No, don't do it. It's all right.
All right, Sherry Mitchell, please go to gentlecooklive.gallery and fill out the Contact Us form.
And tell us where to mail it. We'll varnish this and get it mailed to you. Probably we want to varnish it tonight and give it a date of dry, and then we'll get it to you in mail in the next couple of days. Tomorrow night, you guys, we're going to be doing another live drawing, and someone's going to win another live original painting. for me that we did in 10 minutes, and we're going to have some fun. And remember, when you're commenting, when ask the question, I know everybody likes these flowers, and I mean, we can do them till the cows come home because I can find all kinds of floral paintings for you, but, you know, let us know. What do you want? And if you were a member of, if you're a member of our academy, you haven't joined our art club, please do. Just do it because you're going to like doing it.
Because you need to.
You need to. Just come be part of the gang. And also, we want to hear from you, too. What do you want to paint? We've gotten some...
Because the club people are going to have a voice on what we can do to paint. We're going to give them some choices.
They're going to have a big voice, and you want to be part of that. We want to include you in what we learn to paint. I mean, we've had some suggestions. Andrew said he'd like to have, of course, more flowers and some buildings and stuff. You know, more architecture.
Yeah,
something maybe with some stucco. We've had that. We've had... Barry in England said that for a wave and water class, he'd like to have very still water, maybe, and a sunset. And do you have the picture of what our wave and water is going to be? Do you have that? I have to do the voiceover.
What do you want to do?
I was going to show them the wave and water. I'm always doing tremulous water. I always figure wave and water, you want to have the water where it's just churning up and the sea's just spitting nails, you know, kind of thing, right? And so this month's wave and water. And which we finished. We just have to do the voiceover on it and get it launched for our members.
Careful. I gotta
he's going to zoom out for this because this is big. This is 24 by...
It's an 18 by 24.
18 by 24 gallery wrap. It's a really big canvas. Our Wave and Water gets a, you know, sometime during the month they get a brand new painting. We like to get it closer to the first if possible, but when we do the big ones, it's not always. But here's our...
Go a little bit to the right. Let me turn off the other picture.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yep.
This is our Wave and Water masterclass painting for that'll be for November, and we just haven't got it up yet, but it'll be there. And then we've got a really cool one for December, so we just kind of put them all then together. So this is kind of cool, I think. So that's that. So remember, our job isn't to teach you to paint like me. Our job is to teach you to paint like you, and by doing all these different kinds of paintings. That's how you learn to paint like you. So here's our painting again for the night. We'll leave this up. Somebody's been asking, yeah, I'll show it to you. Somebody's been asking, and again, our members have been asking for the fantasy horse. And
fantasy horse.
Well, kind of, not really fantasy, but it's sort of a mysterious fantasy in the sea, kind of, you know, just, I don't know. To me it is. It's
I think it's more realistic than the other ones you've done.
Yeah, so are you backing out of that? Again, this is a 30 by 40.
No, 18 by 24.
18 by 24, yeah, okay. 18 by 20 for another giant painting, and you're backed out on that, right? So people can see that. So, again, this will be released for our members of GingerCookLive.Gallery Academy members, VLL lesson. That will be this month also. So, we've got some exciting paintings. We're continuing to do more. We've got some wonderful ones we've done on the ship that we're going to show you. Some more of the gouache acrylics, which I'm really getting very fond of. And anyway, any last questions before we say goodnight? Hope you guys had fun.
I saw a question go flying by. How do we know how do we pick the winner so quickly? Miss Alexa did that for us. Each entry has a value assigned to it as it comes in, and I just tell her to pick a random number between the lowest and the highest, and that number corresponds to the person, and that's how this happened to Miss Sherry.
So she got it.
So she got it.
Didn't have to wait, didn't have to do anything, didn't have to roll the dice, didn't have a big jar here pulling out tickets.
Nope.
We've
rely
tried
on
some
technology.
Weird we are now doing technology.
It's as random and fair as we can get. I mean, you guys can blame Alexa, don't blame us.
But hope you guys enjoyed the game, and tomorrow night we'll try to play some trivia too. We didn't get it done tonight. We had an awful lot to show you and do, but I think this was fun. Hope everybody did. Please feel free to comment, tell us nice things. We always love to hear from you, and have a great day.
Good night, everyone.
Night, John. Night, Sammy.
Good night, Ginger. Night, Sammy.
Thanks, you guys.
I'm a student, I say with glee, of Ginger Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby, satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.